community stakeholders, those of you who are listening. I am Dr. Mary Brown. I'm here today to share some information regarding the Greenwood-LeFlore Consolidated School District, and we'll be doing this on a regular here with Mr. Hall. This morning I have three topics I want to share: chronic absenteeism, parental involvement, and the importance of taking the ACT. So first of all, I want to share our mission. This is why we exist. The mission of the Greenwood-LeFlore Consolidated School District is to unify. And when we talk about unify, we're not only talking about unifying the district as a whole, but coming together as a community. The second part of our mission is to educate. This is why we're here, not only to educate our students, the boys and girls in the district, but also to educate one another, the community working together with the schools to prepare our kids. And that is the final part of our mission, is to prepare our students for college and career, because we do know that, you know, not all students will enter college. Some may go to the Army or the Navy, some may go right into the workforce, but it's our job and our goals as educators and the community to prepare our students for college and career, and we do that by providing a high quality learning experience. And I'll talk more about that when I delve into the accountability and parental involvement piece. The vision of our district, this is what we want to see. We want to see a community united, the community coming together to improve the quality of life through education. And we all know that the only way we can improve the quality of life is through education. So this is why we're here. We are trying to improve the quality of our students' lives, because they are our future, which goes into the district's focus. Our focus is to invest in our future by developing every student. We all know that the students are our future. Right now, they depend on us, and in a lot of ways, we depend on them. But in the future, we will depend more on them to lead this community and this world. And as we all know, our motto for the district is 2020 vision. And we do know that 2020 vision is not perfect vision, but it's a sharp vision, it's a clear vision, and it's a focused vision. And this is what we have in the Greenwood-LeFlore Consolidated School District, as well as with the parents and community. We have sharp people. All of us have bright minds. We're capable of learning and working together to do everything we need to come together for our children. We're clear. Everybody knows why the school district exists, but parents know their role, the community and stakeholders all know their role. So we should be clear about what it is that we need to do to move this district and this community forward. And 2020 vision is focus. That means that we don't have time for distractions. We have to keep the focus on where it needs to be. And the focus right now should be on the students in the LeFlore County community. So the district also has 5 goals. The first goal is to increase student achievement. And this is why you send your students to us every day, why you send the kids to us every day, and why we show up and do the things that we do for students, because our goal is to increase their achievement. Goal number 2 is to provide safe and orderly schools, and we're working hard to do that, but that not only takes the district, it takes the community and parents working with us to ensure that our students are safe and that our schools are orderly. Goal number 3 is to provide a positive educational experience, and that's what we seek out to do each day, is to provide a positive educational experience for not only our students, but our faculty, our staff, the parents who come to the schools, and the community members. Goal number 4 is to improve parent and community engagement, and this is key. We need more and more an increase of parents and community members working with us to make sure that all of our kids have that positive educational experience. Not only are they seeing the educators, but they're seeing parent and community members. We're all saying the same things, and we're on the same page, promoting the school district and positive learnings and interactions in our district. And goal number 5 is to maintain fiscal integrity and accountability. Basically, for us, we're looking at how we're spending the funds. We are spending our funds and our resources, utilizing those in a way where it benefits our students. And I'll talk to you about some of the things we've done to meet that goal. So now that we are clearly into consolidation, consolidation is a process. It is as of July 1st, both districts consolidated into one, but it's still a process. And this process for us began back in March of 2019, where we established our mission, the vision, the goals, the focus, job fairs, the plannings, the reading policies. We also conducted, since I'm talking about parental involvement today, we conducted parent meetings back in the month of March. And then we came back in the month of May and conducted additional parent meetings. And which brings me to the point that when we talked about our goal for increasing, goal number 4, improving parent and community engagement, during those times we had very little parent attendance to the meetings, where we were meeting with parents to kind of get their input on what they thought consolidation should be, giving us their thoughts of things that should happen or occur and some of their concerns. However, during that time, we did not get a lot of parents to come out and attend those sessions. So we're trying to continue our efforts to get parents and community members to come out and just show up to the meetings and hear the information, so that we can hear your concerns and clear up a lot of the misinformation and misconceptions about the Greenwood-LaFleur Consolidated School District. We continue through June, July, and up until now. We currently have 4,718 students in our district that we're working with. We've implemented an early release Wednesday to build teacher, faculty, staff, administrative capacity. I know a lot of parents know that the students get out at 2:45 each Wednesday. And our reason for that is because we are a new district, we want to make sure that we all are on the same page, providing the professional development across the district, so that all of us are working together, planning together, meeting together to prepare for our students. So on Wednesdays, we meet as a district at the district level and the school level to plan for our students. Every fourth Wednesday of the month, we've set aside that hour, is from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, as parent-teacher conference time, so that if parents are able to come out from 3 to 4 to meet with the administrators or the teachers, the counselors, or whomever, they can come to the schools, and that's uninterrupted time with the parents, in addition to scheduling parent-teacher conferences. So the first thing I want to talk about is chronic absenteeism. I want to share with you all what chronic absenteeism is and what it is not, and give you some suggestions on how we can reduce the chronic absenteeism rate. Chronic absenteeism, parents, this is missing 10% or more of school days for any reason. So if your students miss 10% or more of school days for any reason, be they unexcused or excused, it still counts towards our chronic absenteeism rate. So basically what that equals to, if your student or your child is missing 2 days out of school per month, that equals up to 18 days per year. That child the absence is accounting towards our chronic absenteeism rate. Even if your child has a doctor's excuse, it still counts towards the chronic absenteeism rate. Even if you write a letter, the child was ill, and you write a letter and send the child back to school, it still counts towards our chronic absenteeism rate. So what the research says is the number one contributing factor of chronic absenteeism is student health issues. So what we're asking, whether they're excused or unexcused, if you're taking your child to the doctor, and we all know that, we all have doctor's appointments, if at all, as possible as you can, if you would check your child out toward the end of the day. That way, it would not count as an absence on our chronic absenteeism rate. Because a lot of times it appears that our students are out because the chronic absenteeism rate continues to increase. But for the most part, some of that, I think parents and community members may not know is that just because the child brings an excuse back, it does not eliminate the fact that their absence was a part of our chronic absenteeism. So there is an attendance law in the state of Mississippi. The attendance law says that every parent or guardian should have their child attend school unless the absence is absolutely necessary. Students must attend school for 63% of the school day to be counted as present. So what does 63% of the school day look like? First of all, classes in the Greenwood-LeFlore Consolidated School District begin at 7:45. Anything after 7:45 counts as a tardy. So the students have to be in school by 7:45. So let me give you an example of what 63% looks like. If your child is at school at 7:45 and has a doctor's appointment, and if you schedule that doctor's appointment at the end of the day, if your child remains in school from 7:45 to 1:30 p.m., that's 63% of the day. So we're not saying check your children out every day at 1:30. We're saying because they still have classes. But if there is a doctor's appointment, if you can get those appointments scheduled after 1:30 or 2 o'clock, that will greatly, that will positively impact your child's school as well as the district. So why does student attendance matter? I want to just share some of the research with you about chronic absenteeism, starting with kindergarten. So kindergarten students who are chronically absent have a 61% chance of being held back for reading below grade level in the 3rd grade. So it's important that you send your kindergartners to school on time, because if you think about when the students get to 3rd grade, they have to pass that 3rd grade assessment to pass to the 4th grade. And so if we were to look back and look at it and see if some of that contributed to tardies and chronic absenteeism or absences, then that may very well be a factor. So it's very important that we get our kids to school every day. So when we look at the kindergarten and 1st grade, those students who are chronically absent have an 81% chance of reading below grade level in 3rd grade. And so it's continued. You're going to see a pattern that ties back to 3rd grade. So when they get to 3rd grade, we want our kids to be successful. We want them here every day so that we can teach them or have the opportunities to teach them what they need to be successful in every grade. So in 4th grade, chronically absent students score an average of 12 points lower on the NAEP test than students who show good attendance. By the 6th grade, chronic absence becomes a leading indicator that a student will drop out of high school. So parents and community members, it's important that we get our kids to school, but not only do we get them to school, we have to get them to school on time, and they really, really do need to stay at school all day, unless it's absolutely necessary to check them out for doctor's appointments and other things. In the 8th grade, chronically absent students score an average of 18 points lower on the national exams than students who show good attendance. By 9th grade, chronic absence becomes a better predictor of a student dropping out than any 8th grade test score. So what the studies are doing, they're looking at the student attendance to predict dropouts, and this is why it's important. Between 8th and 12th grade, a student who is chronically absent is 7.4 times more likely to drop out of high school. So between 8th and 12th grade, those students who are chronically absent, they are more likely to drop out of high school at that age level. So what happens when you get to college? By college, a chronically absent high school graduate has an 11% chance of receiving any degree. So it is important that we send our students to school, our children to school, but we also make sure that they're there on time. In the Greenwood-LeFlore Consolidated School District, classes begin at 7:45. Anything after that is a tardy. So what do tardies have to do with it? I'm glad you asked. So tardies are a result of lost learning time for students. So let me give you some examples. If there are 180 days in a school calendar year for a child, 180 student days. If a child is 5 minutes late, if a child shows up 5 minutes late each day for school, that equals 3.5 days of learning time lost in a school year. Now, 3.5 days may not seem like a lot, but instructionally and missed teaching opportunities, it is a lot. So what if your child is late 30 minutes each day? So if a child is late 30 minutes every day for one school year, that's 21 days of lost instruction. Now keep in mind there are only 180 days for students in one calendar year. So if your child is late 30 minutes a day, tardy, there's 21 days of lost instruction. So if we double that, if a child showed up an hour late each day for school, that's 42 days of lost instruction. So it's very important that we get our students to school on time. So how can we assist in preventing student absences and tardies? First of all, at the school level, we're working to communicate the attendance expectations. At the district level, we're doing that also. But it's important for parents and community members to communicate the importance of going to school and getting to school on time. Another thing that I've shared with parents in some of our parent meetings, form an attendance team. Parents, you can form your own attendance team. You can check on each other's child or check on each other just to make sure that if a student missed a bus, needs a ride to school, if you don't see the child come out of the house that morning, give the parent a phone call just to check to see if everything is okay so that we can make sure our kids are getting to school on time. We're doing it in the school district, forming attendance teams. Another thing we can do is intervene early. Some of those things I talked about, say something earlier before students begin to miss a lot of days out of school. If there are issues that the school district needs to know about, then communicate those to us, but also having conversations with other parents about why it's important for us to get our kids to school on time. And another suggestion is to create a more positive school culture, or to create a more positive thinking about school and school attendance. And that's on both sides, from the district, the schools, the community, and the parents. I say all sides. We've got to begin to speak more positively about the school district, about our students, about our community, because the kids need to hear all of us saying things which are similar and being on the same page, but being more positive about their education. And lastly, with chronic absenteeism, celebrate your children. Celebrate the successes of those who are coming to school. For one example, I was over at LeFlore County High School this morning, and they were having their 9 weeks awards program. And I noticed a pattern of the students who were coming on stage. They had students who had made the superintendent's list, the principal's list, and the honor roll list. And the one thing that was common or consistent throughout those students who were earning those awards, they were also receiving perfect attendance certificates. So parents, it is very important that we make sure that our kids come to school. We will celebrate them at the schools and in the district, but also just celebrating them at home and in the community. So that, again, let me go back and just let you know once more what chronic absenteeism is. Chronic absenteeism is missing 10% or more of school days for any reason, whether you're excused or unexcused. 2 days a month, 18 days in a year. There are 180 student days. We need our students at school every day, but we need them on time, and we need them to remain in school as much as possible. So that's my information I want to share regarding chronic absenteeism.
Dr. Brown, a lot of issues facing public schools. You've chosen to talk about the chronic absenteeism out of all the other issues. And I've heard you harp on that when you go out in person, when you are on the radio. Talk about why you've chosen that to be the number one issue that you're trying to put out there before the parents in this community.
I chose to talk about chronic absenteeism because when we look at it, and I guess I'll go into our ACT averages, our graduation rates. When we look at the students we're graduating and who are going on, and some enrolling in colleges and universities, we hear concerns from community members in this community and other communities that say that, students don't have a lot to do. We want to spark an interest in students taking ownership of their education. We want to support them, but we're basically doing what our mission is stating that we want to do. We have to prepare them for college and career. We cannot prepare them for college and career if they're not at school on time. And even if they're here in the schools, we need them to come in and behave accordingly so that we can teach them the things that they will need to know to be successful in life. So when we talk about the chronic absenteeism, I'm harping on that because I'm making a plea to the parents who, for those who have doctor's appointments, and a lot of times doctor's appointments are for whatever reason that students are not coming to school on a regular. It is our duty as parents to hold ourselves and our children accountable for coming to school every day. Coming to school doesn't hurt. Our parents made us go, so we have to make our kids come to school. And once they get here, it's our job as the educators to pour the knowledge that someone else poured into us, into them. Yes, we understand that the children want school to be fun, and fun has its place, but it's our job to make sure that they're learning. I would rather teach them every day than party every day, because school is not a place for partying. Yes, we do reward them. Yes, we do allow them opportunities to have fun, but when we go back to that motto, clear, sharp, and focused, we're clear about why we're here. And parents, you're clear about why you send them to us. You send them to us for us to educate them. So we need them here every day so that we can teach our kids and prepare them for college and career.
You often talk about, or not you often talk about, you often hear about the ADA, that's average daily attendance. Does that affect the amount of money that would come to the school? So it seems to be two liabilities here. One is that the school would get less money. The other one, the child is out, they can't learn.
Right. So it does affect the monies we get, and we want our kids to have resources. We want facilities updated. We need fuel for buses, and we need all of these things, and that does play a role in it. If our kids are out, then we don't receive as much money as we would if they were in school. So all of it plays a big part, and I'll say that I go more into detail about the funding when I meet with the parents at parent meetings. And I've already met with parents at LeFlore County Elementary, LeFlore County High School, Claudine Brown, and East. I met with them and explained to those parents who did come out, and I'm greatly appreciative of it, why we need the kids there, and the money that we gain and things that we're losing due to a lot of factors that contribute to that. But tonight, and I'll put this plug in, tonight I'm meeting with Threadgill Primary School parents from 5 to 6 o'clock, and at Threadgill Elementary School from 6:30 to 7:30 to discuss these topics more in detail. And I'm making a plea to parents. I really need you to come out. Not just we need you to come out and hear the information. So that when you do have questions, one thing that I've done is giving you the information so that you'll have the questions to go in and have those conversations and ask of your teachers and the administrators and of me. But in order to get the information, we need you to come out and hear the information, because everything that's posted, printed, or whatever, sometimes you can read into it what you want, but when you have the person who's willing to come out and share the information with you, that's the time to come out, hear the information, and ask the questions directly, so that you will hear the questions. You'll hear those responses from me and other district administrators. I think that's very important that we come out and we hear what's going on. We hear the status of not only the district but the schools, and how we as parents can do our part to make things better for our students.
You have a very powerful Facebook page. Kind of talk about that a little bit. You not only rely on your Facebook page, but you do a lot of in-person visits. Kind of talk about the Facebook page and what led you in that direction. Is that meeting this generation? Talk about that a little bit for us, please.
Okay. So in addition to the Facebook page, the one thing I wanted to make sure was that there was not one person who could say, or who would say, well, we don't know any information about the school district. So basically, we have a lot of avenues where we provide information. We have our district's web page. We have robocall and robotext. So if you get the call, you'll get text messages sometimes. We have the Remind app. We have the parent portal. We have the word of mouth. We have our school level meetings. We have our district level meetings. But the Facebook page is key, because a lot of people have access to Facebook. And so what we wanted to do was to make sure that not only are we providing parents and the community with information, because I've heard people say the school district needs to be more transparent. Well, I don't know how much more transparent we can be, because we're out there, we're providing the information, we're not hiding any information. So we use Facebook to showcase our students, to showcase our teachers, to showcase the efforts of the district, but to also offer and put the information there, because it remains there. We don't delete anything from our Facebook page. So if something is posted, if a schedule is posted or a meeting is posted, you're able to go in and scroll to see what those dates are, what those times are. One thing Ms. Dean does, and Ms. Dean gets a lot of credit for the Facebook page, because she's done an excellent job with the Facebook page. If parents have questions, we do have parents who inbox the district's Facebook page, and Ms. Dean will provide them with the responses. So basically, when they have the questions, Ms. Dean will come to myself or any of the other superintendents in the district, and we will answer those questions. And we try to answer those questions as fast as we can, so that parents will have the responses to that. Now, whether you agree or disagree with it, with the response is one thing, but we do try to make an effort to respond to all questions. And I'm most proud of the Facebook page. We get a lot of comments around the state from individuals who are watching our Facebook page, and I won't say adopting, I would just say using some of our ideas, and I appreciate that, because that means that somewhere there's somebody who's looking at Greenwood, Mississippi, and this Greenwood LaFleur Consolidated School District, a district in the Mississippi Delta, and saying, hey, these people or young people or administrators of this team, they're doing an awesome job at getting the word out to the community.
This district is basically a brand new district. This year is still new. With all that you're doing and being busy and going here and implementing that with your new staff, we're talking about from the chiefs all the way down to everybody else. How is it going? Or is it too early to measure from what you're expecting out of it? What do you say?
The one thing I say to the staff, and I mean it, every week it gets better. Every week it gets better. When we looked at our 4.5 week assessments, the students took 4.5 week assessments. We looked at that data. Now we're able to compare to the 9 weeks data, and that's something I also share at the parent meetings. The parents actually get to see the data. We're seeing growth. We're seeing student growth from 4.5 weeks to nine weeks, and just having those discussions with the parents about what things we can do at home to make sure that our students are the individual students at home are practicing some of those skills. The one thing that we do know, we have a reading issue. We have an issue in reading, and so what I share with parents is how can we help as parents. We can allow our kids to read to us at home. We can read to them at home. They can read signs. I used to read anything that was in our house, cans, food cans, magazines, point out words, identify pictures, help children pronounce words. Just every little bit helps. But what will help more, when we talked about spending money on the resources for our kids, we purchase Chromebooks for our kids. And that's going to help also because our kids will be able to access those online resources and they can use those at home, because a lot of times parents will ask, do you have any extra work that you can send home to students? And so what we've done is to provide the Chromebook as well as the hotspot so that all of our kids will have internet access at home to be able to get to those resources. We want to just make sure we're giving our kids the exposure and the opportunity, because at the end of the year, especially in the tested grades, but even with our pre-K through third grade babies, all of our kids take the key assessments on using the computer. In third grade, that reading assessment, in third grade, third through high school, when they take the writing assessments, they have to type. So they need to be practicing throughout the year so that when they get to the assessment at the end of the year, they're familiar with the keyboard and their typing skills are a lot better.
When you say reading, most of the time we hear a lot about that third grade get called a third grade. When you say reading, is that throughout the district or throughout the grade levels? Is that primarily for the early years?
That's throughout the district, because if you think about the students who get to English 2 in high school, and you have those who pass the English 2 assessment, and you have those who struggle to pass the English 2 assessment. What I want the parents and the community to understand is once they get to the high school level, those reading deficits just don't begin at the high school. That starts from home, pre-K, K throughout. So all of us have a hand in making sure that the kids are doing well as they progress through from elementary to middle to high school, so that when they get to English 2 or when they're working on the U.S. history exam and the biology exam where there's a lot of reading that takes place, even with the math assessments, that they won't struggle and that they will be able to take those assessments so that they can move on to going on to a college or wherever their career path is.
Let me ask you again, new district, how tough was it to staff this district in such a short time?
That was pretty tough. That was tough. One, coming in as a superintendent, it's tough because for me, I'm looking for the best fits. I'm looking for individuals who are stronger in areas that I'm not. And so I think that's one of the characteristics of being a great leader. You have to know your own strengths and weaknesses. So where I'm weak, I need people around me who are stronger in specific areas. And where I'm strong, I need individuals who are just as strong in those areas so that we can move forward. So what that means is you have to be courageous in your decisions. It goes back to that 2020 vision, that motto. You got to be focused and don't get sidetracked by the distractions. You have to do what's best for the children. And so when it comes to staffing, starting from top, even throughout the district. We just have to focus on the future. So what's best for our kids? We need the right people in the right seats in the right places meaning the right buildings and throughout the district to make it happen, not for the adults but for the kids. And that's a tough thing to do when you put kids first. It's tough.
Accountability rating. We often hear about that. Schools are measured by the accountability rating. The district currently is a C. Realistically, what can it get to? What's your expectation in terms of measured by the state, the accountability rating of the Greenwood LeFlore Consolidated School District? What can it get to?
Okay, so the district inherited the C because the Greenwood Public School District is the C. So when you consolidate, you take the highest of the two. Now, what we did was we went in and we analyzed the data, and the district where we see the district is actually a D. We inherited a C, but when you combine the data from both districts, we're working from a D. And so we are trying to, we looked at the data, we know where we want to go, we're putting people, and we're still continuing to make sure that things are in place. We are trying to make the public and the community aware of where we are, trying to get all hands on deck so that we can move the district from a D to where we need it to be.
Sounded we're talking to Dr. Brown's heart. The state said a C, but you don't want to camouflage anything.
No.
You say the district is a D.
It's a D.
Well, how can it, again, realistically, what can it get to? We said D. You said D. We said D. What can it get to, given the circumstances?
Given the circumstances, the district can get as high as it needs to be with parents, community, and school districts working together. Okay. That is the number one factor of increasing student achievement. We all have to begin to work together for the children. So we got to move it, and we have to move together. We can't have the school district is not an island. Parents are not islands, and the community is not an island itself. We're all living together, we are working together, and we have to work together to move the school district forward. If not, you're going to see a pattern of school districts or schools accountability ratings going up, and then the next year they decrease, and the next year they go up, and then the next year they come down. Our goal is to move it up and keep it up. And we can do that, but we need the parents and we need the community members working with us for the children. That does not mean that we will all agree on everything. I mean, that's the reality of it. But as long as we know that we do have the support of the parents and the community working together to do what's best for kids, we'll be in a much better place.
You have the superintendent social, some call it a brunch. You bring employees together, you bring students together, young students, a lot of talent in the district. But now when I see the awards going on, I see the smiles on the grown-up faces just as large as it is on the students' faces. Can I talk about that and what purpose does that serve?
So, first of all, with the superintendent social, I wanted to make sure that the students were able to come to the social to be recognized for their performance and not have to come back after school out. So we bus all of our kids in so that they can come to the social to be recognized, and for the students to be celebrated by adults and see other students being celebrated. I think that's very important and to their growth and their development as well as to them wanting to come to school and having a love for school. For the adults, it's the same thing. We offer transportation for the adults. They can ride the buses also. But the one thing that I know or I believe in my heart why celebrating people is important is because, and this is one thing I told the parents, the faculty, the staff, and the students at one of the superintendent's social, it doesn't cost a lot to celebrate a person. I don't have the money to give to every person. I don't have money like that to give to every person. I'm not a millionaire, nor am I a billionaire. But the one thing that's worth more than money is a thank you. And so to print a certificate, to write or type names on it, to hear somebody say how valuable you are to them and to the district, and how much they appreciate you and your presence, whether you're a child or an adult, means more than any check you can write. So the purpose for that superintendent social is to encourage, and for me it is to show the people in the district that I, as a superintendent, I love my people. And a lot of people don't use that word LOVE, but I do. I love my people, and I want them to know how special they are to me. It lasts an hour, but that memory will last probably for more than a lifetime for some of those individuals, as well as me.
In your school district, for the first time in a long time, and probably one of the few schools in a few counties in the state that will have all three high schools in the playoffs. One under your leadership with Coach Gatewood. A lot of conversation about Coach Gatewood becoming athletic director and coaching. It has worked out well because all the schools go into the playoffs. I don't know when that happened last. Coach Gatewood, while he's multitasking, he has a perfect season. Coach Hodge, who's on his way out, the most successful season he's had since being in coaching high school. Coach House, who left Amanda Elsie over to now in Leflore County, again, very, very successful. Can I talk about that? How do you feel about those men and how they work with those young men to be champions?
Okay, so I have a smile on my face for anybody who cannot see me. One, it feels good to have three high schools, all champions. That's what I call them. Three high schools, three phenomenal teams. The students I'm talking about, the staff, the coaches. That feels good. Coming into a new district and just having all of these positive things happening all at the same time. So when I start with Coach Gatewood is the athletic director for the district. But he's also the head football coach of Greenwood High School. And in the beginning, there were some concerns that he wouldn't be able to do both. And I think I told him last week or week before last, how proud I am of him for doing it, for making sure that our athletic department is up and going. Nothing is perfect, not athletics, academics, but he's done it. And I believe, I'm not the athletic person, so I don't know the athletic lingo, but what I will say is I know we're going to win. We're winning. We are winners. Coach Hodge, I will say this. You said that this is his last year. I would just say don't count him out.
Okay.
So what I say is I just look forward to seeing Coach Hodge again. We just have this, it's just something special about these men and Coach House working with these students. And Leflore, having been a former student of Leflore County High School, it feels good. It really feels good to have three teams winning, three awesome coaches to work with these young men. One thing that I found with the football players, that they're respectful, they're disciplined young men. They listen to the coaches. They follow their coaches, and that's a good thing to have coaches, and not just Coach House, Coach Hodge, and Coach Gatewood, but the entire coaching staff. These men who actually on the field and off the field take time to continue to pour into these young men. So I'm extremely proud of that. Like I said, I don't know the athletic lingo, but I can stand at the game, I can clap, I can cheer for my kids, I can cheer for the coaches, and I can say things. Sometimes they don't make sense, but people know that I don't know the athletic language, but I'm there to support the kids, as well as Dr. Pulley and Mr. Johnson, Miss Coleman. And I'm seeing this positive push for success, not just in athletics, but throughout the district. Slowly but surely, it's happening. And no, success does not happen overnight, but bit by bit, every little bit helps us. And so this is our push and our plea for parents and communities to come on in. We have some strong parental support, but we need to increase it also. And community support.
You made some changes. Many times they would say, well, let's wait till Christmas. Let's wait till mid-term, we'll say. You saw a need to make the changes when you felt before midterm.
Well, I know it goes back to that 2020 vision. I'm clear about why the parents have me here. The parents want me to do what's best for their children. Now, for some, that may mean, well, be careful with this, and that. But if you're holding me accountable to do what's best for children, I can't see smoke and wait for the house to burn down. If I see smoke, I have to do what I need to do for the kids. So yes, like I said in the beginning, putting people where they fit best. Some people, they just don't work out in certain places, and you just have to make those changes, because if not, if we wait to make changes, we can do more damage to children, because we're trying to either not hurt feelings or, not make people feel certain ways. My goal is to put the kids first. The parents expect me to do what's best for their kids. Sometimes, in the beginning, people may not understand it, but I have to stay focused, because I know what I want to see, the end goal. I know what parents, whether I've met them one-on-one, whether I've ever talked to them as a parent myself, I know what I would want to see for my children and for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. So I know what I do believe I know what parents want. They want what's best for their children. They want their children to be college and career ready.
Okay. I know you said 30 minutes today, but we push you over to about 47 minutes. Who is this young lady you brought with you today?
So this is Mrs. Shanteria Flowers. She's my executive assistant. She's executive assistant at the district. And at one of the last meetings, I had a parent who asked about the parent portal. And she wasn't familiar with the portal. And as promised, I did tell her that I would provide some information regarding the parent portal. So I asked Mrs. Flowers to come with me today, because she's also a parent in the Greenwood LaFleur Consolidated School District, to provide some information about what parents would see when they log into the portal. And we're going to put this on our Facebook page and our district page for parents to be able to access the parent portal. First, you contact your school secretary to get your username and your password. And you access your child's information by going to https://glc.activeparent.net. But this will all be on our Facebook page. It will be on our district web page. But I wanted Mrs. Flowers to come in and speak to parents about what they will be able to access when they log into their parent portal.
Good afternoon. Once parents log into the parent portal, some of the things that they will be able to do or access are their children's demographics, contact information, schedule and grades, unofficial transcripts, and any news that any schools may have, or district news or school level news. The parent portal has been very helpful to me as a parent, because I'm able to access my kids' grades, and if there are any issues that they may be having in school, I don't have to wait till a progress report or a report card to come out. I can just log on and see their daily grades, and possibly meet with the teachers to discuss interventions that they may need, and things of that nature. The parent portal has been very convenient. It's user-friendly, and it cuts down on a lot of anxiety as well. Everything that a parent wants to know about their child and how they're performing in school is basically just a click away.
Okay. Dr. Brown, any final thoughts for today's program?
final thoughts, before the final thoughts, parents, if you would go to our Facebook page, our district web page, for those high school students this Saturday at the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce building, they will have, it's a college Saturday from 11 to 1. And there's a scholarship out there, it's called the HELP Scholarship. And we're pushing it in the district. This scholarship actually pays free tuition for all students who score. You have to score the 20 on the ACT. You have to meet some other requirements. We're pushing ACT right now so that we can get our kids to score 20. Over the years, we've been averaging a 15. So our push is to get our kids to score 20. But our goal is to send as many kids to college for free as we can. So that's this Saturday from 11 to 1 at the Chamber of Commerce. There's some good information. I share that more in detail or more in depth during the parent meetings. But final thoughts for me, if we want a better community, we have to have better schools. Better schools bring more jobs. More jobs increase the population in the community. Better schools, provide an increase of the number of students who are prepared for college and career. And so if we want to make things better, we have to begin to work together. We have to be more involved, and we all, including myself, have to hold ourselves accountable. So that's the key.